All right, you know how when you go to the car repair shop, if they quote you any parts, there's going to be like insane markup on those parts, like way higher. The thing is that you can get those parts usually online for way less. All you really need is for somebody to install those parts for you. But a lot of times these repair places won't install like the parts that you provide. I'd say a big difference though between car repair places and other types of service businesses is that there's a lot less consulting involved. If there's a problem with your car and you're trying to have the mechanic fix it, whatever the part that has gone bad, it's going to be a very specific make and model. And so they can look it up in their book and say, you need this one model part and here's how much it costs. Whereas when you work with like a security company, the parts that you can use are almost endless. There's so many different types of systems that you can use, and even different manufacturers, they each have sometimes different like lines, of systems with a bunch of different peripherals for each one. When you're talking to another type of service business besides a car place, it's not as simple as, I'll just go grab that online. First of all, there might be a bunch of accessories they don't even mention. We do this all the time when we're installing something. I don't tell the client there's gonna be a certain back box and there's gonna be a certain pipe clamp and all these little things that are required for the job. They just know I'm getting a security camera here, and they don't need to know all the little modules and other accessories that we end up using. So it's not as simple as just going and grabbing something online and being like, can you install it? We do get this request sometimes where somebody calls up and says, hey, I bought a camera system. Can you guys come and install that for us? Or would you guys do that? Which we don't do that. And so in this video, I want to explain why it is that professionals don't install your do-it-yourself systems for you. Welcome back to the Security Bros, by the way. I'm Ken, this is James. There's actually pros and cons to installing customer supplied equipment. Off the top of your head, can you think of any pros?
Pros to customer supplied equipment would be that we didn't have to spend the money on it.
That's on my list. Ding, ding. In theory, we would just send installers. We lose less from non-paying clients. So those two things. Less capital, we lose less from non-paying clients, so we've reduced our risk. And the last one is we aren't responsible for bad parts or for systems not working. So if a client says, here's the camera, here's the back box, here's the cable and the conduit, and they give you all the stuff. There have been times when we have done subcontracts for other companies where like maybe it's another security company, they say, hey, can you install for our client, install the system? And we're like, okay, sure. But if any of that stuff, it doesn't work together, that's not on us. What's the first con that you can think of?
Probably a system that we're not super familiar with, maybe?
I think most people,
a crappy system.
If they had to guess, they would say, what's the con of you not selling the parts? I think they're gonna say, well, you make less money. So you wanna sell the parts to make more money. I'm gonna say that's not what I would consider a con, only because if we're doing a job and it's $1,000 and 500 of it is for the installation portion and 500 is covering parts, let's say the parts cost us $400 and we charge $100 on top. If someone else is providing that, then if our business depends on that $100, we can just charge $600 for the install, and we end up making just as much money. That isn't really a con because you can still charge the money, but I still have 3 legitimate cons. If we aren't providing the parts, then we have less control over a big aspect of that job. We do have control of the installation portion, but we don't have control over the other half. You scale that over a lot of jobs. That's con number 2. We now have less control over the brand, the reputation, the impression of who we are as a company. Because if this customer supplies this system and these parts, and another customer supplies some other thing, then it creates a different experience to the customer because the outcome is different. You're not like replicating that outcome, which means that you aren't building a brand, or your reputation is not as much under your own control. The third con is that it gives us less purchasing power and leverage with our vendors. Let's just say we install 100 cameras a year. If like half of our clients are supplying those cameras, so like 50 of the cameras are from the client, that means we're only buying 50 instead of 100 from our supplier. When you purchase in greater quantities, you usually get them at better pricing. The reason that we don't install the customer's parts for them, or I should say the reason we insist on using our own parts, is because when we make a mistake somewhere, we can learn from that mistake. And it might be that we used 2 parts that didn't work well together. And we say, okay, so we work that out. We figure out what does work. And we say, oh, okay, great. So this combination of parts, this combination of systems, this kind of cable, this connector, like there's so many different pieces to making an installation come across nice and smooth. Everything from the cable that you use, because some cable is prone to having issues. Some connectors that go in the cable, you may think, well, they're all the same. They're not all the same. Some brands make crappy connectors.
And also being long-term reliable. If we find something that's unreliable, it gets swapped out for something else.
The second thing is we take that and we scale it. So we find something that works, and then we replicate that one thing over and over and over, which makes our work over time easier.
Yep.
And then the last thing is that it gives us an advantage. By using our own stuff and everything I just mentioned, it gives us an advantage with especially new clients. If I'm meeting a client, I can say, we've been doing this exact thing for like years for all these other clients that have great things to say about it. That makes that sale like way easier. That is why we don't install everybody's stuff that they want us to install for them. We only install our own stuff.
Yeah.
If you like this episode, smash that thumbs up button so that we know, and share it so your friends know.
Bye. What you got, boy?
What you got, boy? Ooh.
Buns of aluminum.
Oh yeah, I've been working out. I gotta stop messing up the ending. It's like, I keep saying if you like it. And I was like, if you enjoy, it's supposed to be if you enjoy this.
Then you have to revert to give it a thumbs up.